Welcome, my friend, to Next Level Change Success. I'm Therese, a change strategist and practitioner with over 20 years of experience designing and delivering impactful change programs across various industries. In this podcast, I share real-world practical strategies to help you create and deliver positive change experiences, whether you're a leader, practitioner, or someone looking to bring new ways of working to life. In today's fast-paced world, change is constant. Here we focus on how you can put people at the centre of your change strategy, because people with a sense of purpose are the most important link in driving performance. So if you're ready to create meaningful change and achieve all the success that comes with it, keep listening. Together, let's change the conversation and take it to the next level. Hello. Welcome to another episode of Next Level Change Success. My name is Therese, and I'm the founder of myvirtualchangemanager.com. I'd like to acknowledge that I'm recording on Tharawal country and pay my respects to the traditional owners and custodians on the land on which I am recording. Today I'm talking about AI. It's a hot topic. It's been a hot topic all year, and this conversation and evolution really is going to continue through the next couple of years, I suspect. And there's a reason for that. It's because AI is changing and going to change and continue to change the business landscape for quite a while. There's a couple of things when I talked about AI earlier. I think it was earlier this year, now that we're towards the end of the year, but earlier this year, I talked about it in the context of how you can relate and partner with AI using various prompts, using it for communication and streamlining communication. You can use it, and I've seen AI now starting to be used in the learning area in the form of avatars and scripting avatars to create e-learning, which most certainly can help around continuity and also help for longevity of e-learning and being able to, in a more cost-effective way, change e-learning, which I think is a great thing as well, having worked in that arena. Then there's other ways in which it's changing the landscape, obviously through chatbots, interactive bots for customers to be able to get their questions answered in a good way, in a fast way. And definitely what is coming up when using AI in organizations, there's a couple of things I would be looking at if you're going to be introducing AI in your organization. There's a couple of technical aspects, so knowing your knowledge management framework and how AI and even Copilot can access your current reports, information to be able to provide good counsel, robust counsel from a independent perspective, and I guess a machine learning perspective, which is what AI is, for you to be able to now start that journey and then be able to in future really leverage the historical information you have within your organization. The difficulty is, and the challenge is for most organizations, is that there hasn't been a knowledge framework in place. And when I talk about knowledge framework, it's where are records kept, where are final records kept, so not working documents, making sure that AI is sourcing from final documentation versus working versions of documentation. Because when you've got working versions, they're obviously in draft, they're going to be a little bit substandard. So they're not necessarily a source of truth until they're a final baselined document. So ensuring that when AI is trawling through your documents, if you have it set up to do that within your system architecture, that it's actually going to be leveraging the final documents for information. Else you start to head into the concept of hallucination, which is where AI fills the gaps. And ChatGPT has been criticized for this. Other AI bots or AI tools have also been criticized for this. But the reality is, when understanding how machine learning works, you need to ensure that your information sources are as accurate as possible, and that when the framing of the question happens, that everything is fact-checked at the end of it. We have seen, and in Australia we saw a recent issue around a consultancy providing information to government where they'd produced a report, cited some of the sources. When government was reviewing that report, they essentially realised that it had been AI generated and the fact-checking hadn't been done by the consultancy very well, and so they in fact were doing the fact checking of a document that they had outsourced and assigned to a consultancy, and there were big issues with that. Now, the thing with consultancies is they have been using AI for quite a long time, longer than most people would have had it understood that that's what they were doing. Consultancies have been using AI for a lot longer than most companies or organizations are probably even aware that it existed. And now, of course, everyone thinking about AI and how it's used and wanting AI tools embedded in technology. There's just a lot of things to consider. And of course, when it comes to the hallucination aspect, it's important that fact-checking happens anyway on any document that you have AI review. And from the communication standpoint, definitely making sure that AI can do some of the editing. It can do the simplification. It can help you with technical terminology to find better words. So the better you partner with AI, if you have it available in your organization, and then of course, if you're using AI outside of your organization, you want to make sure that you are not breaching any privacy rules with what you are entering into a tool such as ChatGPT, etc., etc. So making sure that all organizations, if they haven't by now, they need to get onto AI policy, making sure that there is a clear policy and guidelines in any code of conduct or framework in relation to the use of AI is really, really important. And I think some organizations have done this a lot faster than they did for social media, which I think is a very good thing that they're onto it straight away. So when looking at introducing AI, it is important to treat it like a change transformation and ensure that you have sponsors, that you have a plan around how to embed capability relation to the use of AI, that you could almost build a community, or if you have a technology-based community within your organization, that you broaden that to incorporate AI. It is very good to have a technology champion network across your organization regardless, because tech is something that some people have a personal interest in, and therefore if you have a champion framework around technology in general, AI can dovetail into this. It's just another aspect of technology which is going to revolutionize business. But then also strategically within your organization, you may have AI tools or AI uplift as part of your organizational strategy, which once again, it could be a pillar. We always like pillars in strategy, so it could be a pillar, could be one of the 5 dimensions that you're rolling out as part of your strategy. But you want to be clear about how it is going to get rolled out and wrap change around it. Ensure that you've assessed the impacts, that you communicate, that you have a communication framework around AI and how it works, that processes, policies, technology are all addressed in relation to the use of AI, and show and capture adoption, utilization, benefits related to AI being introduced into your organization, and ensuring that when leaders might get quite carried away with the shiny, and definitely with mentioning AI, that they know what it really means and that they know what impacts it will have. It's very good for your sponsors across the executive leadership to talk to it confidently, understand it confidently, use it themselves confidently, so that you can get the best outcomes of embedding AI through the organization, and know that when it comes to rolling out tools, that there's a readiness assessment, because many organizations have just flipped the switch on Copilot with no outline, no policy, no framework, no this is how you use it, just appeared in the Microsoft suite. And definitely team members would be utilizing it in all sorts of ways, but probably not effectively, without any sort of support, guidance, area to go to where they could learn more about it. So treat it like a change. AI is not just something that's going to happen to people, or if you allow that to happen, you're going to take a while to recover. And in fact, without having policy in place or guidelines or understand how it relates to your tech landscape, you could be cleaning up a big mess in a couple of years. So consider a change management strategy around AI. One area that I think is really going to transform is going to be the support service area, because many support services are created to talk to leaders, to support operational functions across the organisation, and they've dropped down to be quite operational and not necessarily as strategic as they had probably hoped when these support areas such as HR, risk management, the PMO function, for example, all of these areas can actually drop down to be quite strategic and have operational tasks actually optimized through AI and through AI bots and through developing AI interfaces to their core functions. And I can see that in many organizations, that is the one area that people would call the low-hanging fruit. So the quick wins, let's replace a certain percentage of workforce with AI tools that can answer the same questions that these individuals answer currently. And that should be seen as a really big opportunity, even for people who are impacted by that. And if you're in those roles and you haven't yet seen the writing on the wall, then it's important that you do start to look at your own skill set, how you can develop your skill set around strategy, problem solving, strategic development is really important for your own skill set, because that is where the lesser number of roles will be focused on, because a lot of operational day-to-day pieces will eventually be replaced by AI. And I'm recording this obviously in 2025. This is just where the tipping point is a little bit in the introduction of AI. Over the next couple of years, there'll be some stop-starts where different roles will be impacted or replaced by AI and machine learning. And this is just evolution. So important to get ahead of the game when you see this change coming over the horizon. And I talk about connected thinking. This is part of connected thinking. See what is on the landscape, see what opportunities there are, and then adapt as part of this process. So if you're a change manager, when looking at AI, the digital space, the tech space is going to have endless work in that space in the next couple of years, because this is the next wave of change coming through. And there's appetite at the senior levels for this, which will then mean that operationally across the organisation, there will be eventually efficiencies identified, areas of efficiency where people can leverage AI and replace people's grey matter with a machine that will do very similar things. The concept, though, of an either or versus an and the mindset from the AI perspective, it's important that you have an and in it is AI and the people who will use it. AI will not stand on its own 2 feet. It needs people to use it, interact with it, help it to learn, help it to reflect. And once again, as I mentioned about this hallucination concept, to fact check, to ensure that the right inputs are there, and then over time, accuracy will improve. It is one of the things that you can see even with ChatGPT and its evolution from last year even to this year, and its versions that have come out. It is going to get better and better and better and more accurate. For every landscape that it will impact, and for every area that it will reduce the number of people, there will need to be an expansion in other skill sets to complement AI. And this is what a little bit remains to be seen, but certainly is the reality, is that AI always needs a partner. It needs people to work with. So something to think about there. Change the change framework, apply that to your AI change to get the best utilization and adoption across an organization. And certainly you will have adaptability challenges And one of the key things around the concept of introducing AI as well is the culture change that will need to take place in your organisation for it to be successfully embedded. And that comes down to adaptability and having that as a key part of your organisation's DNA, because AI will accelerate change in your organisation. It's going to show opportunities, and then the organisation will need to adapt faster to be able to make the most of AI, and optimize in its function. So change framework, apply it to AI for sure. Think about the tech landscape, what may need to be reviewed around knowledge management. It is and can be provide an independent view for the leaders of the organisation, and that is going to be a scary prospect when it starts to evidence some things that isn't hallucination, which could then be misinterpreted to be hallucinating, but it could be showing realities that many people have thought about certain areas and efficiencies. So important that you're ready for that as well. And then, of course, at the very operational level, think about from day to day how you're optimizing and partnering with an AI tool to get the best product, whether it be communications, whether it be change, whether it be a risk framework, whatever that may be. AI is great to work with in that space, because the value add then is going to come into the culture aspect, the adoption, the nuanced approach that you would take in the organisation for your change to be a success. So that's it for now on AI, but definitely come to myvirtualchangemanager.com. Come and have a look, because there are some things that we're going to be rolling out in relation to AI just to help you along this journey. It is definitely a change that not many people have worked on, but definitely one that probably would help if you had a bit of a checklist around your AI change plan, so that you can make the most of this change and evolution that's about to happen in most organisations. I hope this has helped. I hope it's given you some food for thought. And yes, come and visit us at myvirtualchangemanager.com. We always have a lot going on. And just remember that change matters, because your people, your organisation, and you matter.